Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. Welcome to my channel. This is SCRR or SCRR, whichever way it's easier for you to remember. It stands for Scott's Comics Retro Review. I know, it's a tongue twister. Believe me, I know. But maybe SCRR will be easier to remember and easier to get out. So let's go by that, okay? Anyway, I'm going through my. This is the third in my series of 1986. It was considered the greatest year in comics by many people, and this is the third book in that series. The reason why there were three books that were released at the time, three graphic novels, which is why it's considered the greatest year. And truthfully, it's between 86 and 87, but they started in 86 and kind of ended in 87 or vice versa or whatever. But these three stories come to 1986. And this one is a little bit more confusing than that. This is The Complete MAUS by Art Spiegelman. And the reason why it's a little bit different is because this actually began as it was a series of stories within his anthology magazine. Art Spiegelman was a co-editor with, and forgive me, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Francois Moulet. Maybe I got that right, maybe I didn't. I do apologize if I didn't get that correct. But anyway, they co-edited this comic magazine anthology called Raw. Now, for those of you who don't know, an anthology magazine is when you have, or an anthology comic is when you have several different stories within the comic. It's by different writers and artists usually, and one of the things that's good about it is you can find some really good stuff in there. One of the things that's bad about it is you can sometimes find a lot of bad stuff in there. But I never actually bought Raw, although I had heard a lot of good things about it. And I've always admired Art Spiegelman since I first seen his work. And it began in 1980. And the reason why this is considered 86 is because there's two parts to this book. It is a survivor's tale. My father bleeds history, and here comes my excuse me, I'm so sorry. And here my troubles began. That's book two. Now, book one was collected and released in 1986, and that's one of the reasons why it's considered that. I did want to point out right here in the front, it says the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. This is the only comic ever to win a Pulitzer Prize, which to me is very impressive. The committee actually created a special category, and it was special notes with letters or something like that. But it was delivered in 1992 as they wanted, and that was after he completed the two stories. So I had heard a lot about it, and I may have seen some panels and things like that along the way. But finally, when they collected both books into one, is when I decided to buy the book, read the book, and yeah, I consider it one of the better stories out there. And it kind of shows you. The first one I did was Watchmen, which was kind of like, it was superheroes, but it was different superheroes than what people were used to, and it kind of changed the game. And the second one I did was Frank Miller's Dark Knight, which was about Batman, which is definitely superheroes. You can't even question that one. And this one here has nothing to do with superheroes. So it just goes to show you that you don't have to do superhero comics in order to do a good comic book. Okay. So anyway, he had done. This is kind of the beginning here, and I kind of wanted to go over this with you briefly, just to show you what this is kind of about. It's talking about how he was a kid and they were skating, and his skate came loose and he fell, and his friends left him there, and he started crying, and he goes back and he sees his dad. His dad is outside working, and he goes up to his dad, and his dad says, "Why are you crying?" And he says, "Well, my friends, they left me." And the dad goes, "Friends? Your friends?" He goes, if you lock them together in a room with no food for a week, then you could see what it is, friends. So that's kind of how powerful it is. His father gave him wits of wisdom like that because, seriously. Anyway, his father went through, was in Auschwitz during World War II, and obviously he survived to come to America. And what they did was it starts out where the son is can't relate to his dad at all. You know, they did grow up in different worlds, and it's kind of hard for them to relate to each other. And what happens is he starts to interview his dad, and while he's interviewing his dad, he's getting to know him, and they begin to build a relationship from there. And I don't want to give too much away, but they do. He does like clever little things in here, like the Nazis are cats and the Jews are mice, and everyone has a different species of animal, which makes the book really good. And the thing is it's relatable in many different ways. I'll give you an example of how it was relatable to me. Me and my dad, we kind of butted heads when it was time for me to decide where I was going to go after high school. And he wanted me to pursue being a doctor or a lawyer. And neither, I already looked into it, and I didn't want to go in either of those directions for various reasons. In either case, when I did announce to him that I wasn't going to do that, we butted heads. I'm sure he wasn't happy with it. I kind of felt a rift at that point, and try to understand, me and my dad, we never stopped loving each other, but I felt a rift at that point. There was like a divide between us. He wanted me to do one thing, and I actually wanted to be happy, which I didn't think I would have been happy had I gone in the directions he wanted me to go in. So anyway, there was many years later, my dad is from an island, Dominica. It's in the Caribbean. It's not the Dominican Republic. It's Dominica. And the last time I was in Dominica was the last time he and I went there together for Carnival. And Dominica is it is a really tiny island, but it's kind of shaped like this, and the airport is up here, and the island he grew up on in Roseau is down here, and you kind of have to drive through to get there, and it's not like it's a highway. It's a little not even 2-lane dirt roads most of the way, weaving in and out around mountaintops. And when we get to Roseau, I can hear a steel band somewhere playing. And the whole time Carnival was going on, I could hear a steel band was playing somewhere. I had to go to it. Sometimes it was right in front of the street where we were staying, but there was always a steel band playing somewhere, and you could just follow to it. If you went to bed at night, there was a steel band playing somewhere. If you woke up in the morning, there was a steel band playing somewhere, and you could just go there and just jump up and fet. So anyway, pretty early in the vacation, me and my dad lost track of each other. I don't know how it happened, but at one point I was like, well, where's my dad? I was hanging out with my I was hanging out with my aunt, and I don't want to give out names, so that's the reason why I'm hesitating and laughing. But I did spend a lot of time with my aunt, and we're going around dancing and everything, and we're kind of hanging out, and almost everywhere I went, people are going, "Where's your father? Where's your father?" And I didn't know where he was. So anyway, at some point we were out into the country, and I don't ask me because I don't remember. I don't know. And I found him playing dominoes out in the country. He was just sitting there playing and having a good time. And we said hi to each other. We hadn't seen each other a couple of days. We were happy to see each other. And this was like after Carnival left. So after Carnival ended, so things were kind of quieting down. And we walked from wherever this house was back to Roseau, and we ended up having to walk through Roseau to get to the house where we were staying at. And as we were walking through the streets of Roseau, my dad was telling me stories about where he grew up. I had been to Dominica plenty of times, but we never sat there and had any conversations about what his life was like growing up. And he was pointing out this place and telling me that story about this and the other thing, and I felt a real deep connection with my dad that I hadn't felt in a while. Um, and that's kind of how I relate this book back to my dad, and how we can go back and you can go back and reconnect. You can relate again. You just kind of have to talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the book is a great book. It's a great read. I didn't want to give too much away, but his father went through Auschwitz, and he had art in America, and Art never knew. It was a different world for him, and he starts to interview his dad, and that's when they start making a connection because they're talking to each other. So it's a great book, wonderful book. And as far as I'm concerned, it's worth the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. Anyway, if you like the book, if you're interested in the book, take a look down below. I have a link set up. You can purchase the book through that link. Just tap the link and boom, it'll take you right to the book. But it's well worth the money and well worth the read. You may be reading it several times. Don't be surprised if you may see a tear or two coming down your eyes because something got in your eye while you were reading. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, this is SCRR or SCRR, Scott's Comics Retro Review. I thank you for watching. If you like the video, if you like the book, please like, subscribe, share. You can send some comments down below. Also hit that bell notification next to the subscribe button. And also, before I sign off, I want to tell you that this channel, I'm going to be posting comic book reviews all the time. And the reviews are not necessarily for everybody. The audience that I'm aiming for are people who want to get into comics and they're not sure where to start. Or for those who have been reading comics that never heard of or have never read the books that I'm reviewing. So hopefully you can get the review, you can watch them, and purchase it, and you'll enjoy the story. I think so anyway. So anyway, that's links down below. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you very much. Have a great day.